Hello, welcome back to the channel. And today we will be doing the edge rushers. I was going to include some nose tackles in there, or D tackles, what you want to call them, but with it really being just Jalen Carter, head and shoulders above Kalijah Kancey, Brian Brisset, and Mazi Smith, I didn't really think we needed to get in there. So I thought I'd do the edges instead. I know in the next video I'll be doing the corners and safeties, but I just thought that these guys kind of were their own group because edge has become such a big thing. Edge, some people might be like, what the hell is an edge? Never heard an edge before. So edge, like rusher, is usually what it is. So some guys are more of a D tackle type of an edge, where it's like a D end that can play D tackle if needed, or other ones are like, standing up linebackers that can play D end if they need to. Like Aiden Hutchinson is a name that is considered an edge, right? People think of him kind of as a linebacker. I'm just saying, we'll see what happens there. He's more of a defensive end than is a linebacker, but he's still an edge, right? So a little bit of a variance in position, but the primary job of this guy almost always is to stop the run or stop the pass. Stop the quarterback. So start off with Will Anderson. I mean, if you don't think you know where this is going, all pro. He's a generational talent. And it's pretty clear to me because he is such a good player. Absolutely unbelievable. Like, he just does everything right. Again, big Michigan fan here. He was better than Aiden Hutchinson the year that Aiden Hutchinson almost won the Heisman, right? He was in the SEC. He was getting schemed against forever. He had pretty bad numbers, I would say. Last year, air quotes bad, right? For him, they're terrible. But he did everything right. It was just bad in general because he was schemed against. He was double teamed the whole time. But even with that, he would fight through it and make it happen. So absolute can't miss. If the Lions are somehow able to get him, unbelievable. I think the Cardinals would be crazy to trade out of it and not get him. But hey, that's the reason why I'm here making videos, and they're out there making the picks. So up next, staying in the SEC, staying in Alabama, we have the Auburn edge, Derek Hall, 6'3", 250, 60 tackles, 6.5 sacks. One pick, 2 forced fumbles. He's a pretty solid guy. I think he's got rotational-ish starter potential is what I would put him at. Just kind of a guy out there. Does a lot of things. People had him as like a third-round pick, but he's been slowly sliding up. And edge is a position that's very hot right now, getting a lot of love and a lot of positional value. So you might see a lot of these guys go quick. I think we could see upwards of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these guys go in the first round, maybe 8, and it wouldn't surprise me. So out of the 30 picks, that's a lot. We'll see the quarterbacks, probably 3 of them go in the top 3 or 4. And probably 4, likely 5, but in the first round. But same thing with edges. There's a lot of edges. You can never have too many pass rushers. Ask the Niners and the Eagles. The next Georgia man up here, Nolan Smith, starter right away. I think. He had a little bit less production this year, obviously with him being hurt. But at 6'3", 238, you ran a 4.3 40. Granted, it'd be a 4.39, but hey. 4.340. It's unbelievable, and I think that he's just a piece that they're going to be able to put wherever they want and figure it out, and he'll absolutely make a killing at the professional level. It's just something you absolutely love to see. Up next, a bit more of a slept-on talent. I put him at the highest of the starter potential because I didn't really watch him as much, but he's super high on a lot of people's draft boards, is Will McDonald IV out of Iowa State. 6'3.5", 239, 36 tackles, 5 sacks, 4 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. Played pretty well over at Iowa State from what I was seeing. It had some good combine numbers, but he played pretty well. So I have him in the top of the starter potential. He's really sliding up mock draft boards. Got a lot of intangibles that guys like, and that some people just draft purely on intangibles, and it gets them in a little bit of trouble sometimes. But other times that's hey, you just got to steal from him. But up next, we have the hardest name for me to pronounce, Tuli Tuipolu, 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 Tuli Tilopio. It sucks because I love this guy. I have him right behind Nolan Smith. He's more of a D tackle edge guy. This man had 13.5 sacks, okay? And I want you to think of a team that had a really bad defense and everyone made fun of him. He had 13 sacks, 13 and a half. Hey, half sacks matter. in that USC defense that everyone said was so bad and couldn't tackle a thing, he was a menace. When was that game? When was this defense really bad, especially against Tulane in the bowl game? I believe he didn't play, but he was all over the field. He was eating people alive. I think he's an absolute steal. I love him. I think he should probably go end of the first round, beginning of the second round. But a lot of mocks have him there at the Lions' 2 second-round picks in the middle of the second round. And I think he's a perfect guy to get up. He's kind of like a Tyree Wilson light, where he's like a big-bodied guy that just goes through and takes care of business in between the tackles, stop the run, get the quarterback, anything. You know, he could almost be considered a D tackle, but he's a bit smaller, so you can kind of put him on the edge. Up next, we've got the most polarizing prospect. Some guys got him here. Some guys got him here. I'm going to have him in starter potential because we just haven't seen him much. He didn't play at Iowa at all, and that is Lucas Van Ness. Only 37 tackles and 6 sacks, 6'5", 275. There's the reason why he is there. I think if he goes in the right scheme, he can really flourish. If he goes the Lions, end of the second first round pick for the Lions, if he goes with like the Eagles, some of these other teams up top, I think he really can thrive in the right spot. But if he goes to a team like the Texans or something where he's going to have to start right away, you might see a little bit of regression. Not even regression. You might just see him not be able to maximize his potential and live up to what a lot of people think he has. So I think it's a pretty big situational pick there for him. So beware to all the teams I'm sure that are watching me right now. Up next, we got BJ Ojulari. Yeah, BJ Ojulari. Sorry, I don't know why I have it so bad there. He's a 6'2", 250 edge rusher out of LSU. LSU edge rushers, they go high a lot. I have him as a rotational piece, though. I just didn't see a ton. Granted, there's a lot of guys in that defense that were really good, and he kind of profited off of that, but he did, do a fair bit. He just has a little bit less production than I'd like to see. A lot of tackles, though, is a pretty higher tackles compared to a lot of the other guys. But, that's kind of the product of a bad team, even though LSU played very well. I really do think, though, that he might not be what people are looking for, which is, I hate to say it, but we'll see how it goes. I like the kid. I hope he does better, but I'm honest here, and I just don't think he's really got all that in him, unfortunately. Up next, we have the Tennessee man. That would be Byron Young out of Tennessee. I have him on here because he's got a lot of hype around him. I don't know. He's probably the lowest guy on this board. But again, these are really talented players. I just don't see it. He did a lot on that Tennessee defense. But, speaking of USC, Tennessee's defense was really bad. And he had generational stats. What's it called? Thule. So he's up there, but Byron Young just didn't really have it for him. But I want to get the Tennessee guy on there because I think he's a guy that will go in the first 3 rounds. So I want most of those guys up here. Up next, we have the man that will probably be on the. We have the man that will probably be on. Up next to the man that hopefully, to me, will be on the Lions or probably the Seahawks. To be honest, we have Tyree Wilson. I have him at the top of the starter category. Huge, big body. You know what? No, he's gonna go all. I gotta let Will Anderson have his love as the blue chip prospect up here. Tyree Wilson, 6'5.5", 271, crazy wingspan, 61 tackles, 7 sacks, and a forced fumble. Big guy. I mean, there was that one play against TCU where he just grabbed the quarterback while getting fully blocked and double blocked. I'll have that as one of my highlights in the highlight video of his that'll come out hopefully soon before the draft. But I've got to maybe start double posting those days. But yeah, really like him here. Not much more to add than he's just an absolute can't miss guy in my opinion. Will Anderson and him are 2 of the top can't miss guys in this draft, along with Bryce Young. I think that's the 3 in the draft where it's like, and Bijan, where it's like, hey, these 4 guys cannot miss no matter what. Another guy that's up and down the boards, depending on who you like, Myles Murphy, 6'5", 270 out of Clemson. He had a really good 2021 and a bad 2022, which is kind of what we saw from a lot of these players. But he had 40 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. I like what I saw out of him a lot. And I think he is the last of the starters I'm going to have up here. So sorry for the next two guys up, me leaking what's going on with those two. But yeah, really liked them. And that's what we got there. Keon White and Felix and Duke Uzoma. I'm going to do the same of these guys here. I have Keon as the last guy in the rotational. Put him in between these two here. Byron's the last guy. Keon, he was good season over at Georgia Tech. 6'5", 285. That's a big reason why I have him still in rotational. He's just a big guy, can come in on third down, stop the run, make it happen. And again, another big bodied on the edge. So you can probably have him play as a D tackle on like the 2-minute drill if needed. But I just have, honestly, if you say you watched a lot of Georgia Tech, you're lying. I saw him. He played pretty decent against Clemson, the one game I watched. That I think it was like a Sunday night or something. One of the weird standalone games. No, it was a Monday night game early in the season before the NFL started. And then looking over at Felix and Duke Uzoma, he's from Kansas State. Played pretty good on their defense. I think he's had a really good combine. So I think that he will be able to become a menace and a problem and has potential to be a really good starter in this league. But I know this is a bit quicker of a video, but just want to get this through and get it up because we're running out of time before the draft. And I want to make sure that I can get as much content in front of y'all as possible. But this is what I have here. Will Anderson's you can't miss, guys. These starters right here, take them all in the first round. Teams that are going to go in the first round, Will Anderson, Tyree Wilson, Lucas Van Ness, Nolan Smith, Miles Murphy, and maybe even Will McDonald will sneak in. If not, BJ, Felix, one of those guys will sneak in as well. But I think definitely those top 6 will be in the first round. So let me know down below what you think. This link will be in the description as always. So we'll see you how you're doing. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Peace.